Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bad Bit Show. I am your host, Joseph. It is here where I interview interesting people who are passionate about games and get me passionate about games. Whether that's creating their own YouTube channels, their own streams, whether they're an indie developer, whatever the case may be, these people are what get me passionate about video games day in, day out. And I am so happy to introduce. Well, sir, you introduce yourself. You know what? I'm going to be lazy about this.
I am Patrick from
There you go.
NintenTalk, and thank you so much for having me, man. I'm loving this new show.
Oh, thank you so much. I've gotten so many like kind words about it, and it really does mean a whole lot because again, I try to make the show about people who do get me passionate, and it's to me it's not about the big YouTubers, right? Like it's about the
Yeah,
small guys. It's about us coming together. So, with that, Patrick, I got a question for you,
what's
sir.
up?
To start the show off, I do it every time. What is the game that made you fall in love with video games?
Um, so it's a little bit of a mixed bag. So I started primarily with handhelds,
Mm,
and I think Pokemon, probably like the whole era. I'm a '90s kid.
yeah, same
The
for me.
show was out, the game was out, like live, breathe Pokemon. So that was my first game, like I completed, got into.
Pokemon Red or Blue?
Blue.
Scumbag. I wanted
Well,
Blue. No, you know what it is? Me and my brother used to fight over. My brother got Pokemon Blue, and we
okay.
used to fight over it constantly, getting so many arguments. And that's when my mom actually yielded and got me a Game Boy. And it got me actually Pokemon because the one time my brother was like, "Oh, like for my birthday, like my your aunt and uncle got you Pokemon," and I'm like, "No way!" And what they ended up giving me was a stupid King Kong game or Godzilla game. I was just
Oh
like,
my god.
"This is not what I wanted," and I know this is one of those bargain bin games. I'm still
But
gonna play it.
we had Pokemon Yellow, but like
Yeah.
for anyone who's played Pokemon Yellow, it's pretty much like playing Pokemon with training wheels.
Mhm.
Like they give you everything. Like there's no real challenge to that.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
that's
played
my brother's favorite one. He's like, I love Pokemon. You Pikachu follows you. I'm like, fuck. I don't want.
you get all the starters. It's like there's no challenge at all.
No, none whatsoever. So first off, Misty, let's talk about her because
Okay.
she made a young man out of me. Was she also like one of your first crushes as a kid watching the anime?
See, I was a little bit of a weirdo, man. I went for Jesse.
Oh,
I
okay.
was Jesse.
Okay, no, I was also a big fan of Jesse as well as a kid. Again, you don't know what these feelings are, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's not like I'm a 7-year-old and I'm like, all right, it's time. It's like,
No, because
it's,
my favorite Pokemon of all time is Arbok,
yeah.
and I
Oh,
know it's not
really?
really a common one, but
Yeah.
Arbok's awesome.
That's so strange. My best friend would agree with you because she loves snakes.
Yeah,
She loves them. So, like, for me, it's like, yeah, no, it is Charizard. And it's not Charizard because Charizard is a badass, but because of Pokemon Red. Like, seeing him on the cover, that's that is
yeah.
Pokemon for me. Yeah. So okay, before I get into like the fat material, which is Misty now, let's talk and move forward here. So you're a big fan of Pokemon, big fan
Mhm.
of portable games. Where
Yep.
does that lead you along the Nintendo path?
So it's kind of funny because I don't really have like a Cinderella Nintendo story. Like
Ooh.
I was a hardcore PlayStation fan, like PlayStation 1, PlayStation
Mm,
2. Like the games that I grew up on weren't Mario really. Like the first time I played Mario was on the
that's
Game Boy,
interesting.
but I was a giant like Spyro fan, Crash Bandicoot fan,
Yes.
Ape Escape, like all
Oh
dude, all the
man.
classics like PlayStation. That's why I'm seeing all these games being remastered and I'm like, do I need a PS4? So,
The
yeah.
answer is yes.
Yeah, seriously. But
So
yeah, I started with PlayStation, man.
that is so weird because like even like to me I'm like I started like I am the Sony fan but like I grew up on Nintendo and then like I slowly moved up. I'm strange, I slowly moved over to each system. So like I remember as a kid, I don't know if you were the same, but like we were lucky-ish enough to that we were able to have like a Nintendo that was our stable console. And then somewhere down the road, our uncle had a Genesis. So when we
Hmm.
go over his house, we had the Genesis. And one day we just brought it home. We never returned it because our uncle's a fucking weirdo. And so like he so we had this Sega Genesis. We had Super Nintendo. Back with the N64, we had a PlayStation 1 at my uncle's, or actually my grandma's. And so like we always had both, but we always preferred Nintendo. And
Yep.
I don't know. Were you the same? Did you have like the two consoles, or you're like? Because I know they
We
were expensive
just
back in the
we
day.
just had PlayStation. Yeah, they were. It was funny though because my best friend at the time, he had an N64, so that was my outlet to play those kind of games.
Okay,
And then the kid up the street had the SNES, so like that was my outlet to play those kind of games. So I really
that's
didn't
awesome.
need I didn't really need it. I wasn't using people, but I was
Yeah,
just playing it at their house. Like that's what we would do.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, like the N64, it's so weird. It's like it only sold 30 million units, but it seems like everybody had one, right?
yeah.
Like dude, like to me, like my favorite Smash Brothers is on the N64 because of the
Okay.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
My favorite Mario Kart N64 because of that nostalgia. Now going back to it now, it's like the frame rate. Oh God, but you know
It
that's
aged bad.
yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
So how do you make the leap from being a Sony fanboy, a Sony pony as they call them, to being a Nintendo bot? How does that
Yeah,
happen?
dude. So I was just playing, made the leap to PS2, and then just played the hell out of that. My friend had an Xbox, and dude, the Xbox 360 completely blew my mind. Like
Yeah,
just seeing Gears of War being played, that game still looks good, and that
still.
game was it was incredible. And then the little thing called the Nintendo Wii came out,
Oh boy.
and for whatever reason, I was like, I literally went up to my mom because it came out that Christmas, I think '06.
Yeah,
And I was like, Mom, I need this console. And I don't know if you remember, but at the time, those were next to impossible to get.
dude. My brother, he stumbled across it. That's how we got it. Because to me, I didn't even like. I was like, "Oh, the Wii's interesting," but like at this point, I'm like, "But it's for kids."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm a grown 13-year-old boy. You know what I mean? Like it's I want to call people names on the internet. I gotta get my 360. So like, I remember my brother just came home with it. He was just like, "You don't understand. It was there, and we needed
Yeah.
it." Yeah.
Dude, I just was like looking up videos. I'm like making Mii's and just like, I don't know, the whole like console just appealed to me.
Okay.
And I remember my mom came up to me. She's like, you know what? I can't find it. Like, we're going to have to search for something else.
Yeah.
And my brother's girlfriend at the time worked at Walmart. Some guy returned one last minute. The Wii kid,
Oh
the
my
kid with the
god.
Wii, but it was awesome, man.
That's incredible. Like, first off, who returns a Wii at that
It,
height?
yeah,
Was it opened? Was it?
brand new. I guess the kids like didn't want it. I mean, the Wii is interesting, but like you said, it was very much like this is a kid's console, and
Mhm.
Nintendo was okay with that. Like they
Yeah,
wanted to appeal to old people and kids,
yeah.
and
Let Xbox chainsaw people and PlayStation make a overpriced ugly console. We're gonna make this. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And first off, if you like the fat PS3 the most, you're not a good person in my book.
Yeah,
I
that's like
understand.
driving a Hummer. That's like you're terrible.
It is the Hummer of consoles, man. It's just huge. It's unwieldy. Like to me, I think the first revision is the best. Oh my god, so much, such a better console, but still did not lack it lacked that design that like the 360 had. Nonetheless, so you get into the Wii.
Yep, the Wii was great, and literally, I didn't really play a lot of games. Like Wii Sports took it over, and I wasn't a big gamer back
Okay,
then. As weird as that sounds, I would play the 360, like I said, at my friends. We'd play Gears of War, Halo. We almost went pro in Rock Band. Like we, it's so
you're gonna
fun.
start touring.
And I kind of like shut it down for games, man. I didn't really play a lot.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's same here. Like last generation, I think like I took time off, I guess, for half of that console generation. Sometimes, yeah, just like you're a kid, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
shit happens. You're hanging out
Yeah.
with your friends. You're trying to see where you could go with girls that ultimately lead nowhere. And or results may vary. So
Yeah.
like you're not like going for your consoles. To me, what it was for me was like, yeah, trying to chase girls and trying to, and of course obviously doing a horrible job, and then also playing World of Warcraft like a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Oh
my
God.
I had a friend and still he plays PC games.
Yeah.
So like I had a weird array of friends that like had different consoles. But yeah, dude, I shut it down until college.
Okay.
And college I got a 360. I actually got the red one. What was that? The Resident Evil?
Yo,
Yeah.
that's a nice console.
Yeah,
That's a
dude.
beautiful console.
So
Oh,
good. And I played that still casually.
yeah.
I later upgraded. We're going into like end of college, upgraded into Xbox One. Had a
Okay.
really good time with that. But I started getting more serious about games. But and yes, Nintendo is still not here, folks. And
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
and this is like not even like a few years ago, man. And
Yeah.
got into the trap of my guilty pleasures, which is first person shooters
Okay.
and sports games. I'm a giant sports fan.
Like
Big sports fan.
what are we talking here? Madden. Madden.
Madden, 2K. I would love a baseball game, but that only exists on PS4, apparently.
Apparently, my good friend Kyle, Kyle Stevenson from the Trophy Room, loves it. So I'm
Yeah.
actually thinking I might pick it up just to play with him. But
Dude,
I
it
hear
looks like you're
nothing but
watching it
great.
on the TV. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So you know your story with Nintendo so far. You know what? It reminds me of like PlayStation with me because like I again the Sony fan, and when you go like Xbox One, it was only a few years ago. I was like, dude, we're approaching on 6 years, right? Like it's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yep.
So like to me, like yeah, that's how it was with PlayStation. I was never a big PlayStation fan until the end of the last generation into this generation. And so
Hmm.
like it's crazy how like we kind of like start switching off. So what's the breaking point that makes you go, I'm gonna go buy, I guess, a Wii U?
Yeah, it was. So I was playing the Xbox and I was kind of done with it. I was buying all these like first person like the Payday that's coming out for the Switch now. I was playing that,
Mm-hmm.
and I just lost all interest in games, and it
Ah,
came to
sucks.
that
Yeah.
point where it was just like can I even relate with games anymore? And I think everyone has that. That's
Yeah.
kind of like there's a breaking point where you're like, okay, I'm over it, or let's find something else. And I was like, hey, what's Nintendo doing? Because I always was interested in Nintendo games, and they're just carefree and they're so different.
Yeah.
I knew that they had a new console, but I really wasn't sure what to make of it and how people were receiving it. So I all I did, and this is the search result that changed me forever. I said top Wii U games in YouTube, and from there I just
Oh
started
man.
watching like top 10 Wii U games, and like all these people not even talking about Wii U games, but passionately talking about you need this game in your life. And
Yeah.
that was never the case with Xbox One. Like I mean, there are some great games on Xbox.
Say
Sean
no
is probably
more,
gonna
fam.
kill me.
Say no more.
Sean's probably gonna kill me. But there's no one really saying
Yeah.
like you need to play this game.
Right.
Um, and the last time that I had an experience with that was probably Skyrim. Skyrim's probably like a
Oh
top
boy.
5 game. Uh, but dude, I just started searching it out, and I literally like a week later, and I'm always like this with decisions. I always
Mm.
just go for it.
Same here.
Sold my Xbox One,
Oh shit.
sold all my games,
Oh
and
shit.
bought a pretty nice Wii U bundle on Craigslist. And it came with like 10 games.
So you did the opposite. Right? You're
Yeah.
like I remember selling my Wii U for my PlayStation 4. Like I was just like, well, I gave you a chance. Like no, not my PlayStation 4. I think my Xbox One. I'm like, I gave you a chance. I stuck out with you for like a year and a half. You got nothing. My brother has one. If I'm interested in a game, I'll just buy it and play it on his. Bye
Yeah.
bye. You know, so like That's so interesting. So what's the first Wii U game? What scratch that. The Wii U game that grips you into Nintendo.
So I played, I think it was Super Mario 3D World, and
Okay.
I just started playing that, and I was like, dude, this is really good. Like the controls are solid,
Yeah.
the visuals, like from not playing since the Wii, seeing the HD visuals is kind of mind blowing.
That's
Um,
true. Yeah.
Playing Mario Kart 8 is, dude, that game for a Mario Kart game to be like, I think it's the best Mario Kart. I mean, with
Ooh. Ooh.
Double Dash in that one.
I'm gonna say something, Patrick. I never played
Uh oh.
Double Dash. I hear great things about
Oh
Double
man,
Dash.
it's so
I
good, dude.
actually do not like it almost at all
Wow.
because
What is it about it?
um so and like the designers they have listen they're smarter than me, right? I don't like how the game feels like it's complete chance. And what I mean by that, or like
Okay.
chance to an extent where it's like predictable chance. Like I know if I'm first in the beginning of the game, it's not my skill that's going to keep me in first. It's someone's going to get the blue shell. And the guy's typically around last place or in eighth place that gets the blue shell. And
Yeah.
so I'm now in eighth. I'll never get a blue shell. I'll never get that chance back. So like to me, like even the designer said like, well, that's what you get, and like it's chance. We want anything to be just dictated by chance. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like to me, when you're in first place, what do you get? You pray to God you could get a green shell, but you usually get fucking bananas.
Or a coin. Like, thank
Yeah,
you for
I'm
the
like,
coin.
oh, and I can only collect 10 of these every round.
Yep.
Okay, I see how this is.
Now, I will say that for the people that say Mario Kart 8 or 8 Deluxe or
Yeah,
whatever is a pick up anyone can play game, I don't really believe that
nah,
because drifting just overpowers that game. If you don't
yes,
drift, you don't win.
no, no.
So I don't really see. I mean, anyone could pick it up and play, but I don't really see that as like a
You don't win.
casual game.
To me, you know what my favorite getting nostalgia out cart game is? It's actually Seven. I fucking love Seven.
Dude, seven's good.
It's a
Seven's good.
really good game, and I think it's just a lot of people overlook it because it's on a handheld. And I
Hmm.
just think it's such a solid game, and that's I believe the one that introduced the gliding mechanic, if I'm not
Yep,
mistaken.
I think
So
so. Yeah,
like it was something else. I really love that game so much. But
yeah.
what other games? Splatoon. I hope. Pray to God.
Splatoon was later because that
Okay,
came
good.
out kind of later.
Yeah.
That game's something else, man. But then I started getting really nostalgic. I pick up the Wind Waker HD and
Still
what was it?
something I need to complete.
Oh, dude, so
Yeah.
good. The
Yeah.
GameCube, I honestly think is the best console because of the library. Like,
Mm.
if you look at some of the franchises, like I think it has the best Paper Mario game. Probably has Smash. I mean, some people say Melee. I'm the one who upsets people, and I don't like Melee. I really don't.
Really?
It's I see why it's competitive because it does
Okay.
have tight controls, but I think the newest one's probably the best.
I think so too. I see. Like I'm same with you when it comes to melee. Like I understand,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to debate you on that technical level. You'll probably win. But like to me, I actually like the one on 3DS was the one I actually played the most.
Oh, okay.
I loved that game. Toon Link is my boy, so like I really I dug the shit out of that game.
Yeah.
Um, to me, I don't have like a console that is like the like I can't think of a console that I could say like has the best games,
Yeah.
like a best generation. I would be I probably might have to say the 360. Bam.
360 is good.
Because
360 is really
just
good.
because of games like Red Dead Redemption. I know they're multi-plat, but yeah, Red Dead, Skyrim, what I played, BioShock, those games, and then maybe even like Tide maybe would be the PlayStation 4 because Bloodborne, Horizon, oh
Dude,
god,
I know, and I'm missing out on all those.
so good. Oh
Oh
my
man.
goodness. Like and like most of all Bloodborne cuz the more I think about that game, the closer it moves on the list of my favorite games of all time.
Wow.
Like to me it actually might be like second. Yeah, because
Damn.
I love like my top two are Red Dead Redemption and The Last of Us, and then right after I think is Bloodborne, because it's just
Wow.
that great. It got me into the Souls universe, you know.
Hmm.
So with that said, what are your like what are your top three?
Oh man. I think doing this to me, man.
I'm sorry, I'm
I
putting you on
think
the spot.
I think Breath of the Wild. I mean, it's so cliche to say now,
Right.
but I'm not really afraid to say that the newest things are the best. Uh,
Yeah, I feel like people like you're like it's so cliche to say. I think we have this the pendulum starts swinging, right? Like I love Breath of the Wild. It's up there as well. I do think there's flaws to it, but
yeah.
to me I like it's always like this game's amazing and then like you're in that sect of people who got their hands on it first, and then you get the people going, it's pretty good, who got maybe their hands on it a little later. Then people who have this expectation, it doesn't live up to it, and they're like,
Hmm.
it's not that great because you're picturing
Yeah.
something else.
I'm glad
So
I got it on launch. It
yeah,
was definitely a great experience.
yeah,
Um,
it is an amazing game. And the more I think about it now, like Horizon and Zelda do a dance for a game of the
yeah.
year. But with that, okay, we got Breath of the Wild, your favorite game of all time. What would be your second favorite?
Hmm.
We have this.
Um. This is tough, man. I really do like Wind Waker, but I don't think I'd put it up there to be
Okay.
like the best. Uh, I mean, and I don't know if Breath of the Wild has changed that because like
Ooh.
it, you start comparing, and I hate
Right.
comparing new to like really really old. I'm sure a Call of Duty is up there. And you know, for all the hate Call of Duty gets, man, it's the perfect, like, so precise,
Right.
and the gameplay is great on it.
No,
Uh,
I feel you. I Call of Duty is one of the games that got me into history.
yep.
Um, and so like Call of Duty, like the first one was on PC,
Hmm.
and I think Modern Warfare for its time is the pinnacle
Yeah.
of first person shooters. We wouldn't be, I think, where we are without it. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
people like to overlook that because it's popular. People want to hate on the popular thing.
Hmm.
With that, what is the game you play that you're like, I want to start making Nintendo content on the internet in front of maybe a stranger or two, you know?
I think it wasn't one game.
Mm,
I think it was more of just like, holy crap, like why isn't a lot more people owning a Wii U? I mean, the library was crazy.
you're
So
right.
I think it was more of Nintendo as a whole getting me back into something that I thought was lost. Um,
It rekindled that flame.
exactly. And when I first started, like, because I've been a YouTube fan for years. Like I followed a bunch of people, and so I just, how it started really was this guy, actually similar to your channel, Rule of Two Review.
Okay.
Um, he does kind of long form discussions, but he does cover PS4. He does cover some other
I believe I've
consoles.
heard of him.
Yeah, he's a good dude, and
Yeah.
he does this thing on his channel where he does Q&As,
Mm,
and he basically asks people on Twitter, asks people on Facebook, like, um, give me suggestions for the Q&A. And it was the first time that I interacted with a YouTuber, really, because I was always the probably now, like, the people that don't view, people that don't
mm,
like, or the people that don't like, obviously they're viewing, but
yeah.
people that don't subscribe, like, that was me for the longest time.
Oh,
And so
really?
yeah, and I wasn't subscribing to anyone, but I was watching the same people's stuff because I didn't really think it was a big deal. Um, and I just started submitting questions to this guy's Q&A, and
Mm,
he started to know me because I started submitting like questions every
that's
time.
really awesome.
And to see like my like little icon and like my question go up on the screen, it was kind of like, that's
Whoa.
pretty cool. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like, it was weird. So I actually contacted him, and I was like, listen, man, like, what does it take to become, like, to start a YouTube channel? And here he is with, I don't know where he's at, 8 or 9,000 subscribers. And he actually like took the time to like send me a giant
Like
three
laundry list.
paragraph. Yeah.
Oh, that's
And he
awesome.
said like, this is the equipment you need. This is what you need to do to start a channel. And he's like, the most important thing is to audio first.
Yeah.
um, Make it like so your audio is clear. You can have the worst camera in the world, but if people can't hear you on that kind of level, like they're not going to subscribe.
Yep.
um, so I slowly started getting equipment, and it was last year that I started. And I was actually let go from my job. I had a pretty good job, and it was kind of like false promises, a lot of false
Okay.
promises, and I was just over it. Um, and that was, I would say, probably March, like right when the Switch came out. So here I am without a job and a brand new console, which is a dangerous
Wow.
combination. Um, and I actually like started going around interviewing, and I locked up a job, but it didn't start for 4 months. So I
Okay.
literally had 4 months. Thankfully, I had money saved up, so I was just hanging out.
Yeah.
Um, and I started recording stuff, and it came out really bad, so I didn't put it out. But I just wanted to like get my voice out. Like when you make a video, you really don't realize like how you even sound. So
Yeah.
just getting that down, I think was weird.
That took me a long time.
Yeah.
I started out like you see my early videos. They're all bad. And like I mean, not saying like I am the pinnacle of what I've accomplished because there's still so much that hill to climb. But like I was doing videos, and what I was doing at the time was I had this capture card, and I was putting gameplay over my audio. But the thing is, I didn't understand how to record audio over gameplay.
I
This,
see.
this is fucking awful. So I would record the gameplay and talk at the same time about something.
Hmm.
And so if you see like like older videos are a little bit incoherent, it's because I'm playing the game and trying to play the game, trying to make it interesting, and at the same exact time trying to talk about something that I think is
Oh,
interesting
you were doing it all at once.
all at once. And so like and then it was on a Kraken headset too. It wasn't like a good mic like this. So
Yeah.
I actually I took the time. I was like, okay, how do we do this? And so I was like, I could use QuickTime. And just like that's what I started getting it, and that's so strange. So like you started what 2017 making content?
2017, I put out my
Damn,
first video in April.
that's awesome.
And so like you were just saying like, oh, my first videos were bad. I am lucky enough where I didn't put out a video until I was 100% like with everything. And it was
Yeah,
all completely self-taught. From the, 2 months before, I literally would watch tutorials on YouTube, like
that's
what
awesome.
programs to buy, like how to record. And my first video I put out was when is ukulele coming to the Switch? And 2,000 views later, I'm like, holy crap, my first video got 2,000 views.
That's nuts.
And it was just a snowball effect from there. Like
That is crazy.
it
That
was
is
instant. Yeah.
yeah. That see that is like what a lot of people don't understand is like the effort it takes. It's not that like it's not that simple. So like for like yeah like it took me like 8 months to figure out and to like to go I maybe I should split audio like it took me a while because like when how like I've said this multiple times, so I'll just spark notes it is I started making videos because my grandpa was passing away. And
Mhm.
so like he had cancer, and he found out he had like 30 days to live. And first off, that must be fucking nuts to hear. Like just
I
thinking
can't
about it in my
even.
head. So I'm just like, if it was me, I'd be doing like all the cocaine. With that said, though, so never gonna sleep, never gonna die. And so with that, like, it was it was the escape mechanism. So like, even if some guy goes like, "This is shit, you're crap, you're never gonna go anywhere," it's like, well, you don't really matter. And what you're saying to me
Exactly.
is actually, in the whole grand scheme of things, minute. And so I think actually, I know this sounds weird, starting there actually was one of the best things, because you find out that, like, hey, guess what? Like, my Nintendo Labo, my first death threat. That's fantastic to me.
Fantastic video, by the way.
Thank
Someone
you.
had to say it.
Thank
Jesus.
you. And so, like all those dislikes, I'm like, just rain them down. I don't care. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not here to be Mr. Popular. I'm not here to be Mr. Whatever. I'm gonna just say what I think's on my mind. And so, with that, I think that gave me the power to, like, to go ahead and do and say things that might not be the most popular, but you think and you have that feeling you need to say them.
Yeah,
So, like,
exactly.
with that, I give you so much props for going and having the foresight even before going into YouTube, going, I need to make sure I got good sound. I need to make sure I know what I want to talk about. I want to make sure, like, this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
Like, I give you so much props for that, because that took me February 2016 to actually
Wow.
consider. And
That's awesome.
I think really 2017 is where I actually got my stride. So, like, I commend you, sir. Like, fantastic work.
I mean,
Seriously.
I owe a lot of it to Rob, and I owe it. I still support him, and if he had a way, like, for Patreon, like, dude, I'd be the first one.
Yeah.
Like, he's really cool, and he's another channel that, like, he's had success, but he's been doing it for 4 years. So yeah, dude, I put out the first video and instant success, and I knew that I didn't want to be like cookie cutter. Like, this is my philosophy. Say if Smash comes out tomorrow, or is announced tomorrow, you have Game Explain that's going to cover it. You have probably 40 other channels that are going to cover it before anyone else sees my video. So it's kind of pointless for me to put out, like, oh, Smash is coming. Like,
Yes.
it's just an echo at that point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I'm saying, will Smash be the best-selling Smash of all time, I might be in the top 20 people to make a video about that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I went with not necessarily topical stuff, but like, okay, what's happening? But let me talk about the possibilities of other stuff happening. So that was always my thing, to create
Genius.
conversations.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was always my philosophy.
That and it's the best, because you're right. Like, you're a pebble in a very large pond.
Yeah.
So it's really how you throw the pebble to make the biggest wave, to make the biggest splash, right? You don't just dunk it, you gotta toss it. And so, like, with that, I think that's, like, so ingenious. It's like, yeah, no, yeah, NintenTalk is gonna, talk about, Smash wouldn't make sense. It would be like, how do we make it so that, yeah, Game Explains talking about Smash 4 coming out, but NintenTalk's gonna talk about, yeah, like, who's the top 5 fighters I would want to see in Smash.
Exactly. Something
know?
like that.
And then because they're already making that one video, so you're actually ahead of them. So when you see, your keywords, when you see Game Explain pop up on your suggested, that makes you feel so good.
Yeah. Seriously.
So with that, if there was something you could say to younger you before you started, right now, what would be that one thing? Like a bit of advice.
I think it would be to be a little bit more open about collaborating, like, earlier. So I had done a couple collaborations, and for the people that only, like, collaborations for me are, it doesn't matter if you collaborate with someone who has subscribers or 100, because that person with 100 may have 100 loyal subscribers,
Right.
that would easily, like, go to each channel. But I think collaborating is important.
It's the most important thing. I feel like I've learned in 2017 was, like, you have to collaborate.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go out there and make a name for yourself. Like, that's how you do it. You don't just stay in your circle. You know? And, like, that could help for some people, but, like, yeah, I think that's fantastic advice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Collab.
dude, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I was at 400 subscribers, and Bobby at the time was at 600, and so I'm a big fan of Josh Thomas of Nintendo Beyond.
Okay.
And I know he's not the most politically correct guy, but he makes cool videos.
Yeah.
And he was appearing on Bobby's show. And I think this is like the pinnacle of my story, I think.
Okay.
So I went over, I saw Josh on, it was Nintendo Talk Live. And so I was like, this guy's cool. Bobby's cool. So I subscribed to him and I saw his next live show. And whoever he had on, I don't know who it was, but they canceled on him. So it was just Bobby like awkwardly talking to people. So I was in the chat and I was just like, hey man, I love your stuff. I just started watching you. And he's like, okay, why don't you come on my show? And I was like, what? Like it was just like, okay.
Yeah.
So I went on his show and dude, me and Bobby like clicked like instantly. It was just such a good guy. And you know, to see him off of YouTube right now, you can
fucking feel right.
Dude, you feel it. You feel like that like absence.
Because like real talk here, like I was actually Bobby, Sean, Toby, the Make Us Better community, man. If it wasn't for them, I would not be making videos still. Like I was at a point in October of just saying fuck it all. And so Bobby really and Sean really like came up and they're just like, hey, listen, we have this Patreon and it's about making us better. And it's already started. They're like, you're doing too much. We like your content. Come be a part of us. And we know we're going to take a hit. We know some people might not be a fan of it, but I think once, paraphrasing at this point, once people get to know you, I think it's going to click. And so like they took a big chance on me and that is something like I can't express. Like seeing Bobby, rip Bobby here. He's an old man. We knew he was gonna go eventually. No, he really, those two guys and Toby, man, they helped me out, man. Like I was at a crossroads. I remember doing the NintenTalk with him and just like afterwards, like we talked for an extra hour and 30 minutes about just like politics and life and just like anything. And like to see like Bobby and me outside of video games is like two totally different philosophies.
Yeah.
But because we love video games, we're able to bullshit with each other, shoot the shit, have fun, and really like, man, Bobby is one of my best buds.
He's such a good dude.
Yeah, man. And so like that's where I took this philosophy of like, man, like 2017 helped me out. I want to talk to more people. I need to get out there. I need to, do this. So like your story like inspires me because it is what I dream YouTube of, is like bigger channels helping you because they want to share the love of YouTube, of what YouTube can be. With that, let's see. I don't want to rub Bobby's ego more. God knows he's like, no, this is the best part.
Well, the thing that honestly like made me like into a like the growth, because everyone asks about the growth. They're like, you started last year. The thing that really took off was I was playing Splatoon, and I love Splatoon, and Splatoon 2 wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
So I was just playing Splatoon, and I was like, you know what? I bet people are really hyped about Splatoon 2. Let me live stream. And that did it. Like I literally started live streaming. And when I first started live streaming, it was just the gameplay and my audio. It wasn't video. I didn't have a webcam at the time. And so I would just start hanging out with people, playing Splatoon. People would join the room. And you know how you have your like live stream like tools, I guess you would say. It shows like the signal strength and stuff. Yeah. And I look over and it says 40 people are watching right now. And I'm like, wait a second, what? I only have like awesome. I only have like 400, 500 subscribers. Yeah. And this was shortly after Bobby. So like his people were coming over. Right. And then in the chat, it's like a bunch of people started saying, I forgot the channel, but it was like raid, like we're raiding you. And I'm like, what is this? Like I didn't even know like live stream culture.
No, me neither. I learned about raids during Sea of Thieves because I guess she's a big deal, but her name's, I think, One Shot Girl. She does a
Okay.
lot of streaming on YouTube, not on Twitch.
Yep.
So like we're playing Sea of Thieves. Bobby, of course, is being Bobby about it. He's like, "Oh, this isn't Nintendo. Oh, what happened, Rare? My Pro controller isn't working." And so like, I'm old. What is this magical box in front of me? And so like all of a sudden they're just like One Shot Girl rate, and like it's just we got like 100+ people just watching Sea of
Jeez.
Thieves, and I'm just like, and just seeing like Sean's reaction of like, is this about, what are we doing? It's
Dude,
amazing, like,
it's
and seeing
crazy.
people subscribe, that was just like, this is so awesome.
And that's
It's
what
so
was
awesome.
happening. Like
Yeah,
I looked over, there was 40 people watching. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. And people are chatting and like everyone's having a great time. The lobbies are getting full, like people can't join in.
yeah,
Then I look over again, there's 120 people watching, and I'm just like, why haven't I been live streaming? So
this
literally
entire time.
that whole summer, pretty much, I was just live streaming Splatoon, and then when Splatoon 2 came out,
Yeah,
craziness. Those people
should have
were
started streaming Splatoon 2. That's what it is.
dude, it was gold. And we were playing at the time too. You
Yep,
were Poly Games at the
yep.
time. And then 3 months, literally days after, like the 3 month anniversary of when I started, we hit 1,000 subscribers
That's awesome.
on stream. And like I still have the stream. I'm glad it happened on the stream because like I
Yeah.
can go back anytime, and like I had the number counter, so it was crazy, dude.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. Maybe one day I'll hit 1,000. Maybe, but like a lot of people don't know. Like, dude, like the journey to 1,000 is like, it's tough. Like a lot of YouTubers say, it's the hardest. It's the
Yeah.
hardest climb, and then things start getting easier. Have you seen it getting a little easier for you, like in terms of like making content, people coming in checking out, or
I mean, I will agree that. See, I have a weird story because I hit it in 3 months, but
yeah,
like, I feel like right now at this very moment, I'm teetering on like I'm like I don't even know 50 away or something from 2,000, but I'm at that point where I'm like it's kind of slowing down. It's kind of like
hmm,
flatlining a little bit, and it's a little weird for me because I'm so used to that like fast
steady,
start,
right?
and then it's just kind of like not bottomed out, but like just steady.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to come up with different ways to diversify. Like I've been making a lot of just like audio with gameplay videos. That's kind of
Mm.
like what I do for the most part, but I'm always trying to like expand a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, to me, I when I get subscribers, right? It's I understand it's, to me, my channel, it's a wave. People have to get to know me. And so
Mhm.
like I'll see 25 people subscribe, and then I make a video, and then maybe 5 people leave. And then I'll make another video, 10 people will join me. And then so like it's kind of like you're weeding out the chaff
Yeah.
from it. So like people are getting to know you, what you're about. And where does this lead the Planet Nintendo podcast? How does that become a reality?
Yes. So I was back on Bobby's show.
Mm,
He started bringing people back.
yeah.
And I think I was the first one. Not bragging or anything,
Don't
but
want to brag, but yeah.
I think I was the first one to return, and I told Bobby before the show, I was like, "Listen, I have a special announcement that I want to do, and I want to do it on your show." So at the very end, I was like, "Listen, Bobby, I'm starting a podcast with a couple dudes," and he was so offended, and I
Oh
didn't
no.
expect this. He was like, "Wait, no, you're not. Why didn't you ask me? Like, why are we doing a podcast?" And I'm just like, dude, the amount of stuff that you do right now, like
Yes.
you weren't even in my, of course I would love to.
Right.
You weren't even in my like list of people that I was going through. So then he's like, whatever, we'll finish this after the show. So we end the show. We're just talking after the show, and he's like, dude, I didn't know you wanted to do a podcast. And I was like, yeah, man, a lot of people are doing them, and I feel like my channel like works well with it. I mean, it's in the damn name. so so he's like, okay, well, if you really want to do a podcast, like, and you have people lined up, like, go do it, man. I can help you out. And I was like, the guys that I was gonna originally do it with, they're kind of they just stream on YouTube, which is there's nothing wrong with that, but they're not really committed. Like you have to be
Right.
committed. Like
Right.
you have to put out videos.
The half of the battles being regular.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Bobby's like, okay, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you come up with an idea for the podcast, or tell me your idea a week from now, and we'll just go from there. And he always tells this story a much different way. He's like, oh,
Of course, he has
yeah,
the
the Bobby
Bobby
version.
spin zone. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he was expecting me to come up to him and say, I want a podcast and I want to
Yeah.
report all the news. And from the beginning, that's just not what I've been about. So I met with him, and I just wanted it to be me and him because I thought the dynamic of having someone who's 25
Mm-hmm.
and having someone who's 85, I thought that 50-year, I thought that 60-year gap would be interesting. So,
I love how we like. I feel like in every episode so far, of the Bad Bit Show, we have a segment where we just shit on Bobby.
oh man. So I thought that would be cool because he over here he would be talking about the NES and how
Right.
great it was, and I'd be talking about like the GameCube and stuff.
It's,
So I
it's
thought
the
that
two different perspectives.
yeah,
Right, like he's coming from like the old school fan of like when electricity was invented, and you're coming from modern day, right?
yeah,
And
like
so like those two perspectives, yeah. So like, how does Joe After Work come into this
yeah.
podcast?
So me and Bobby were having the meeting, and I was so prepared. I made logos for the thing. They've since changed because Adam is amazing.
Dude,
Um,
right? Like when I saw the trophy rooms banner, I was just like,
dude, that one's nice.
dude. I was just like, he's like, is there anything like that needs changing? I was just like, like this is perfect. Like he
Yeah,
is
dude.
so talented, man. Everybody go to the Megadads. Why are you still
Yeah.
watching this?
Seriously, I gotta talk to him because I have a couple that I want to do.
Same here.
Um,
He's so fantastic.
But yeah, so we were just talking, and he's like, "Well, I don't want this to be, every other podcast. Like, I'm already doing like 600, so I don't want to do like another one." And I was like, "No, like, we're each gonna bring topics,
Right.
and they're gonna be very much what I've been doing, like not reporting on news, but kind of a spin on it."
Yeah.
And the whole reason why I wanted to do a podcast was my channel was kind of becoming like a live stream channel, and
So you
I
want to
love
diversify.
exactly, and I wasn't putting out a lot of content either. So the whole like idea was we would have 4 topics, and this is the way we started. We broke them up into 4 separate videos. So Monday through Thursday would be 4 videos, which later got changed by viewer requests because people like apparently watching these long videos. So Bobby's like, okay, I love this idea, but hold on a second. So Joe pops in the call, and I've known him because he appeared on Bobby's channel and Nintendo Talk Live, and I knew he streams, but I didn't really know a lot about him. And he's like, I want to have 3 people in this because it's something different. And I was like, okay. So we filmed the first episode. First episode got almost 1,000 views,
Oh, shit.
which, yeah, dude, which for a podcast is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like, it's really good.
That's really fantastic.
and
yeah.
a lot of good response, man. And we started doing it, and
Now, is for the people out there, where is the Planet Nintendo podcast? Is it only on YouTube or on iTunes or?
it's on YouTube. It is on iTunes, but Bobby was in charge of that, so I think it's a little bit behind.
Okay.
There are a few episodes that aren't on there yet, and then people that are patrons get the audio versions early.
Right.
So that's always like an incentive for them.
I was on, guys. It's a fantastic podcast. I made a lot of insensitive jokes, I think, with you. And so, like, it's a fantastic podcast. So Congratulations, man.
Thanks,
Like
man. I love it.
it's awesome. I've always danced around the idea of having not just Kyle, but like having someone else there, because you get to, you get to fill whatever silence is left. Gets filled,
Yeah,
and it becomes a more dynamic conversation. The only hard thing is getting the people there.
exactly.
It's scheduling a time where everybody can meet. That's like the most difficult thing. So like
Yeah.
when it comes to your YouTube career, though it's young, you've been incredibly successful so far. Keep up the good work. What is your favorite video? What is like the video
Mm.
that or podcast that is like your crowning achievement?
Um, so the funny thing about my channel is me and my friend, he comes over a lot and we play a lot of co-op games, but we're always like joking with each other. We both come from like cooking backgrounds. So
Okay.
dude, like off air, like we talk like sailors, like it's
Yeah.
bad. So my
You
most
could, oh
popular,
yeah, just so you know, you could curse.
oh, I
Fuck
know,
shit
fuck
cock
yeah.
balls. Yeah, there you go.
My most popular video is me and my friend prank calling GameStops. That's my
Oh,
most
you
popular video.
son of a bitch.
It has, I think, like 26,000 views.
Oh
Um,
boy.
and literally, I don't know where it was posted, but it got the majority of those views overnight.
Mm,
It's so weird. YouTube is so weird. Where you get views, where you get subscribers.
it is. It's a weird animal. Like, I used to work at GameStop, and we get prank calls on the daily. First off, I think I've mentioned this on the show before, but we used to work next to a Radio Shack, so a
Oh
lot of old
God.
people would come in really confused, like, "What is this place? What is happening here? Oh God!" They're like, "I like a battery," and we're like, "What is Radio Shack is next door?" What do you mean, Radio? This is Radio Shack. And like they would be like, they'd walk outside, and then they actually look up, and they're like, "Oh God damn it!" it's but like we get prank calls all the time,
Oh man, it's so
and
funny.
yeah, no, I did that once too, as
I
an
think my
employee of
favorite
GameStop.
videos, are a lot of like I do a series like best games for like
Mm,
under $10 or like hidden gems on the Switch, and like yes, they're kind of generic, but I grew up watching like G4 TV and
yeah.
seeing like X Play and like showing like all these like lists of just random games, and they would show footage and it would be nicely presented. So it is generic to a sense, but like just seeing like, hey, I put that together, and like
Yeah.
there's people commenting like, oh, because of this video I bought such and such game.
One
um
one video that constantly does numbers on Bad Bit Games is one of those really bad ones I keep talking about. It's like the ranking of Halos, and ironic, one guy. This is how bad I was, dude. Like first off, it's like it has like 3,000 views, and every day I get like a comment. There's a new comment, and like one guy's like, "You're talking about Halo, but you're playing Destiny on the PlayStation 4." And then I'm just like, you know what, man? You're absolutely right.
you got me.
That's why I switched to this format. Like,
Funny
but
though, because like I do get comments.
yeah,
What's that?
we're lagging
Oh,
like
I thought I cut off.
crazy.
Okay.
That's fine.
um I get comments on like really old videos, like from when I first started,
Mm,
and I'm just like, I don't even like respond to them, as bad as that sounds, because like it's so irrelevant. Like I
right.
know I was wrong because I started pre E3, so I was making a lot of E3 predictions,
Mm,
and of course, majority of them didn't come true.
yeah.
But why are you still commenting on
Yeah.
me? Like this is
Told you there would be no Metroid.
yeah, like dude, I know Pikmin 4 didn't come out.
Yeah, you fucking idiot! Like, of course, Pikmin. Like, come on, Shigeru Miyamoto even said. I'm like,
Oh
I
my
get it, I
god.
get it, I get it, I get it. I'm an asshole. Has there? I talked to Joe about this. Bad comments that like I said, my first death threat. Have you ever gotten one of those? And how do you deal with that as a
Um,
YouTuber?
Death threat. No, I can't believe they did that on a Labo video, if
Yeah.
anything.
Well, we
Um,
have to thank Mr. Player Essence over there.
oh God.
Thank you. You
That's so
really,
funny because like him and Rob, who I was talking about before, they're actually like not close friends, but like they're in the same kind of
yeah,
bubble.
yeah.
But yeah,
Fuck
I
you
did
very
see that.
much, sir.
I did see that. That was weird. But me,
Yeah.
so interesting fact, me and the Metroid fan base don't get along.
Oh, really?
Because I'm not afraid to call them out because they're terrible people. They Metroid is such a cool franchise
Yeah.
that doesn't get bought. Like, what are you guys
Right.
doing?
Right.
Like, you go out and you say, we want 2D Metroids, we want them now, and yes, they release it on a 3DS,
Yeah.
but literally, like, Metroid Samus Returns is everything that everyone wanted. Like, sure, it's like a remake,
Yeah.
but it's your 2D Metroid, and you didn't really support it. So I'm excited for the next Metroid game, but I think it'll be supported now just because there's so much hype of people who apparently have played Metroid games that aren't bought. It's a gray area. It's really
Yeah.
weird.
So I want to. I guess the last question as we
Yeah.
wrap up here is, where do you see? I asked Sean because he plays everything. Like, where do you see the gaming industry? But for you, I want to ask you, where do you see Nintendo this year, next year? Where do you see them going forward? Is it positive? Is it negative?
Yeah.
Let me have it.
I'm still cautious about Nintendo,
Mm-hmm.
because for anyone that was a big fan when the Wii U was out, it was kind of scary. Like you were seeing
Oh yeah.
photoshopped pictures of Mario on PS4 boxes,
Mm-hmm.
and people were saying, is Nintendo done? And you started almost believing it, because just how badly they fell. And they
Right.
weren't really used to this. Like they had a Wii console that did amazing, and then for the Wii U to flop as bad as it did. So I'm cautious about the Switch. Obviously, it's off to a good start,
Yeah.
but this year has me a little concerned. I mean, I'm sure the next direct will come out and announce all these great games, but right now it's becoming the people that have a Wii U. I'll say, because it always goes back to that. But a lot of remasters are coming out.
Right.
A lot of ports are coming out, and that's kind of not what Nintendo's been known for. They've kind of been known for putting these wacky titles out. That's why, like, I actually like Arms. I thought Arms was a good, like, here's a new IP. It did well. I mean, it's not really well received, but I just want to see new games. That's all I want to see. And Kirby's coming out, Mario Tennis is coming out, but that's it.
Yeah. No, I think you're. There is like, there's always this like a lot of positivity, right? Because like the Switch is doing fantastic sales
Yeah.
wise, but like yeah, and again, like you said, this direct, sure, it's gonna fill in all those empty spots, but like coming from last year, like let's be honest, Nintendo fan to Nintendo fan, does Kirby get you as excited as The Legend of Zelda or Mario?
No.
Is
Because I know it's going to be like a 3-hour game. It's going
Yeah.
to be a 4-hour.
Is Yoshi getting you anywhere excited as a Mario Odyssey? No, like I'm not gonna buy that game. Like and again, I know it's meant for kids, but I'm just saying, like, as because I do have this feeling like you're an early adopter to something, right? Like PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo, they all have this one thing in common. This is why I don't think Labo's gonna. Maybe I'm wrong. It's maybe the second coming, but like when I think of an early adopter, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm going to buy this for my kids.
Yeah.
I'm buying this for myself. And though we have a lot of like parents or whatever, is you have to appease the hardcore fans. And I think if anybody's spending $300 on what could be a handheld or whatever have you, it's not mom and dad. It's you.
Yeah.
And so like Yoshi doesn't excite me. Is Mario Tennis as exciting as Mario Kart? The numbers don't lie. It's not. So
Hmm.
like, yeah, Nintendo's high, and again, the direct's gonna fill out. We're gonna get Smash this year.
Yeah.
I'm so positive, and I want to know. I guess this is the true last question, Patrick. We're gonna get Smash this year. It has to happen because
Yep.
we have to justify a online fee for a
Yep.
shitty online service. Let's be real. It ain't good, guys. It's
Yeah,
not
it's not
good.
that great.
If I need my phone, like Sean Capri, don't give Nintendo credit for an awful mobile. Because Sean was on the Xbox Drive. They're like, Xbox chat is on the phone. Is that like, did Nintendo see the future? No, it's just a feature they
Man.
added. They've had chat since 2005. Like the only way to chat is on your phone is awful. So
Yeah.
like you have to justify it with Smash. Whoops. And then I also think Pokemon's coming out this year.
Yeah, I think that when Pokemon comes out and it's going to be a big success,
Yeah.
like very rarely do Pokemon games do poorly. I think that
other than if you're black and white, I think
Yeah,
all
exactly.
those are awful.
But once they embrace putting their handheld games on the Switch, that's when I think that it's going to come full circle.
Yes.
And dude, I just made a video about it, but the eShop is terrible.
Yeah.
It's bad. I think a lot of people are like underestimating how bad it is, but it's bad.
And that's the one thing too is a lot of again, I love this Bane quote. It's like your victory has defeated you. It's like all these things that are once really awesome on the Switch, like the gold rush for indies. Now you're just seeing indies just like, let me remaster all my games. Just throw it on here. I'm gonna throw this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw that. Gonna fucking where's the kitchen sink? And like you're just seeing like a lot of iOS games, like a lot of Android games, like, and not a lot of like good stuff, like,
Yeah.
and like I get it, like a lot of it I do get because you either put it on, like somewhere like the 3DS or the Wii U shop and it didn't perform, but like these other games, like I saw a game, I forget what it was, but I'm like, I saw this on an Android phone, like.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck is this doing here? And what it does is muddy the water for like actually excellent games that are there and actually excellent remasters. Like games that actually deserve the dollar. Like we see Jules, Mutant Muds. I want to ask him why he hates me so much because I can't land a fucking jump in that goddamn game. But his games are fantastic. They're not getting love because constantly it's like. Yeah, every Tuesday there are 37 games hitting the eShop.
It's bad.
It's bad, man.
And
It's
I
so
also
bad.
think that virtual console is something that has been played up, but I think it is important. Like Nintendo is built on nostalgia. Like I'm a prime example. Like the reason why I'm back is because Nintendo knows how to grab people.
Yep.
Put your old games on the console and let people buy them. Like I don't know why. Jeez.
Like I'll on to here. Like we were on the stream with Sean. He's raising money to help battle cancer. Sorry. He has a stream to help fight cancer and stuff, help organizations, all that jazz. And in the middle of the stream, he's just like, let me just buy Mario 3 for like the fucking 18th time, So I get it. Like I would love Super Mario World and then just never touch it. I bought an SNES Mini. I turned it on twice. There's things about this that they should already be here. And it's not even like these things are going to sell like hotcakes. It's just like, no, they should just be here already. This is like, I guess what I'm trying to say, they're just like little details of something that like when you don't have them, things feel a little empty. So like I'm interested to see what the online service is gonna be, what it's gonna look like if they add virtual console in. I'm interested to see what they do with Smash. Super interested in what they do with Pokemon. I want to see Ryan Reynolds as a sexy Pikachu. I said he's attractive. Get over it.
Yes. I'm not gonna lie.
He is. He's if Ryan Reynolds once got up to you, he's like, "Hey, I want to touch your face." I'm gonna let Ryan Reynolds touch my face. Whatever.
Do it, man.
With that homoerotic phase over, though, Patrick, I did this with Joe. I think I'm gonna make this a thing. Could you close out the show for me? Where can they find you before they do that too?
They can find me Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at NintenTalk. Thank you for watching the Bad Bit Show. I am your host, Patrick from NintenTalk, and tune in next week. I'm sure he'll find someone else that's
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a special guest. I already have the perfect way of how to ask this person to be on the show, and it's gonna be excellent. So,
Ooh, okay.
yeah.
Sounds good, man.
So with that, guys, everybody, yeah, you heard the man. Have a nice one.